You use it in any polymer component that's going to be responsible for translating strings.
And which decisions do you think I should be responsible for? I want to make sure we had clarity.
And the Afghan people will be responsible for their own security.
And marketing and be responsible for huge billboards in New York City. He goes, and now I want to do something.
That I would be responsible for overseeing 2 wars and for seeing to the well-being of those fighting them. During World War II,
You need to be responsible for the outcomes of your algorithm. And we're seeing some of this in the GDP.
A substance which may be responsible for 68.3.
In time, in density, that may be responsible for the
okay.
dark matter.
Let me.
Future Attorney General, who would be responsible for the first restricted trade practices legislation.
Him to conclude that this part of the brain must be responsible for speech generation. Back then, scientists
that any of them could be responsible for more than just placebo effect. By definition, an aphrodisiac is something.
So why do I say Astrid may be responsible for a scientific breakthrough? Well, this web
should be responsible for helping to determine how much toxicity our children are exposed to.
You know, what you need to be responsible for so you can bring that body of work into the world. And I think that at the
financially that I own, and also my liabilities, because he or she will be responsible for making sure those debts are paid properly.
Task Force East will be responsible for our maritime ports.
Senior director of our water practice. You'd be responsible for designing investments in water and sanitation so that girls, for example,
they would go to a plant and basically be responsible maybe for 1 or 2 different tasks.
Be responsible for their own kids, but this.
It shouldn't fall to them to be responsible for the physical safety of.
And I really did not want to be responsible for the inadvertent death of my patients.
People need to be responsible for their own behavior more than they ever have before. This is a caveat emptor world.
Coming out of this, BP will be responsible for the damage that it caused to the environment. And what will
families, meaning that syphilis may be responsible for many of those miserably boring dynastic power struggles of post-Columbus Europe. Anyway.
To be responsible for more of their out-of-pocket costs are accessing healthcare systems less. People are staying.
And this gets to a point that the consumer can't be responsible for asking that question. You know,
Except when it tastes.
Because the Banyan Mountains are in the north, and these are people who then would be responsible for the management of the Banyanite. So
that I had to be responsible for me. And I would only be giving up on myself if I gave up. So before it...
You around the building, but they're also going to be responsible for vetting projects, introducing you to...
Which would be responsible for actually helping America to make a transformation.
Building that you'll be responsible for now for a period.
Luddy Hall. Land. We don't have to be